Namato Ratanatayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zim, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening everyone. So today is 27th, Sunday the 27th of September 2020, and this is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I'm here with you all to share some of my understandings and the teachings of the Buddha and how to use in our day-to-day life. And thank you everyone for being part of this online Facebook Dhamma talk and attending to listen these talks. Hello Margaret, hello Anish, and everyone. So today is another Sunday, and this is the last Sunday of the month. And just information that tomorrow at 12:30 we're going to have this mindfulness Mondays and Zoom meetings, and you are most welcome to join with us. And the Zoom account is available on the website, our website, or if you haven't got it, you can text me to find and just see you. And this Zoom meetings is ongoing classes in relation to the Aberdeen Health Village Mindfulness Mondays. Since the lockdown, we are unable to have this Mindful Mondays at the Health Village, and we started from the Zoom. In the recent sessions, we had about 19 to 20 people attending, and tomorrow is another day. So you're all welcome to join this online mindfulness meditation Mondays mindfulness Mondays session. And again, it is one more announcement that our Katina ceremony on the 4th is cancelled. We are not going to have it in line with the government's instructions regarding the coronavirus spread and the spike that again increasing every day. So with this, the government has introduced to not to have any big gatherings. Although the religious places are allowed to have about 50 people in a safe distance and focusing on all the measures, but we do not want to risk any of our members, so that we decided to cancel the event. So that's why on the 4th of October we're supposed to have this annual Katina robe offering ceremony will not taking place anymore. So in the meantime, if any of you would like to come to offer the dana or contribute to the center's upkeeping and even the donation for the this Katina robe ceremony, you're most welcome too. And so far, members being very generous and providing food to the venerable monks. So I really appreciate, and may all the merits that you all have done come together to bless you and keep you safe and prosper, and all the good wishes may you have come true. And again today in the barn, our 2-window installation is completed, and now the second job is the flooring, which again takes quite a bit of a planning and a good work. So we are expecting to spend about £2,000 on the floor. So we'll see how much it stretches. And first, now we are studying that how can we install the flooring. Okay. Meanwhile, all the other events that venerable monks are supposed to go and attend the ceremonies down south are also cancelled. That means all the monks will be here in the center throughout the time. And now the autumn is coming, winter is creeping in, and the cold weather is hugging us now, reminding us to keep ourselves warm, keep ourselves in a good condition, and any opportunity that there is any sunlight, then enjoy before it becomes darker. And as we all know, in Scotland, in the morning around 8 o'clock, until 8 o'clock it is dark, and by the 3:30 again it's pitch dark. So we will have only limited lights throughout this winter time. So take this opportunity, enjoy whatever you can during this time before the autumn ends. But having said that, life is always uncertain. Life is always uncertain, and if everything is certain, we would not enjoy the life. There's always a need of fluctuation. Even our heart. Our heart is always ups and down at all the time. The very moment when our heart is in one line, that means we are dead. So, our heart is always ups and downs in order to keep us alive. Same with our experiences in our life. Always there is ups and downs. There won't be one tune. There's always different tunes to make a beautiful song. Our life is like that too. All what we need is to look at that uncertain, inconstant, and impermanence of things and tuning into it. And that's how it gives the blessings of this life. Nothing is permanent, and yet everything is so beautiful if we know how to look at it. Okay, so this uncertainty of the time and uncertainty of our life, all what we have to do is to learn from it and enjoy with it. And enjoying is the key here. And enjoying here means understanding the way it is. But in most of the cases, what happens is that we tend to look at outside and trying to make sense of it, that we want to know everything. We want to know about the plants. We want to know about the trees. We want to know about the earth. Want to know about the universe, so and so. Most cases, again, we want to know what the neighbors are doing. But according to the Buddha's teachings, it doesn't matter how many things you know. Doesn't matter how many knowledge you have got about the external world. Is not that sufficient, and it's not conducive for your own happiness. I remember when I was on a retreat, in a 10 days silent retreat, one of the days the meditation master gives a teaching saying that there was a scientist in America who was very knowledgeable, and he invented so many things in the science, and he was like super cool, knowledgeable person, but somehow he was very miserable. Somehow he was very miserable, always trying to find and make sense of it. But when later he became interested in meditation and practiced meditation and realized that after the meditation only he becomes so happier. Yeah? So that's why understanding about the external world, understanding about the whole world is not that important. What is important is understanding of ourselves. Yeah? Knowing ourselves. That is the reason why Buddha said that the world, if we want to know the entire world system, rather than going out there and try to learn about it, learn within yourself, within this 2 meters or 2.5 meters of this fathom of this body. When we fully understood this body, then we understood the entire world system. And in that, based on a couple of years ago, I was attending one of the ceremonies in London, and one of the monks told me a beautiful story that struck me until now, and I have used it so many times in my talks as well. And that is that there is a live television broadcasts. And one day in a summertime, this crew went out in the New York City, trying to find out something which is unusual that New Yorkers will amazed. Yeah? So with that in mind, a crew went out hunting something unusual, and somehow along the way they saw 2 Buddhist monks wearing a saffron robe, walking in the park. And it was just a shining, and because of this sunlight, the whole body of 2 monks were just sparkling and shining. And having seen these 2 monks in the New York City garden, small garden, this crew thought that this must be a very, very interesting for the New Yorkers. So up he went and asked the question, interview to the monks. So he introduced himself that my name is so and so, and this is my crew. You are on live television. I want to ask you one question, that is, what is the most important things to know in the world? Without any hesitation, the senior monk replies, who are you? And then this crew again repeated, thinking that this monk may not be able to understand full conversation. So he repeated with very slow speaking. My name is so and so. This is my crew, and we are making a video, and you are on a live television. I want to ask you one question. What is the most important things to know in the world? And again, second time, the senior monk simply replies, saying that, who are you? And this interviewer thought that this monk probably doesn't understand, so I need to speak very slowly. So he speaks, my name is, and this is my crew, and you are on the live television. I want to ask you one question. What is the most important things to know in the world? And this monk said, foolish, I have replied you twice that what is the most important things to know in the world? That is who you are. Now, this question you may ask to you, who you really are. How do you define that you are? We define ourselves by name, nationality, ethnicity, color, culture, religion. Now, think about it. If we take all these name, nationality, ethnic group, culture, religion, who we really are, how do we define? I remember, in the past, the names were not given. I remember that everyone was living in a community and everyone knows them by seeing them. But now when you take out your names, take out your nationalities, take out your ethnicity, take out your religion, take out your color, who you really are. So this question needs to be answered properly. Even in our day-to-day life, in a modern time, in order to achieve the success in our lives, we have to know exactly who we really are, and then only we will be able to comprehend that what we want to be. If we don't know who we really are, then it will be very difficult to be who we want to be. So that's why the first question that we have to ask to ourselves to find out who we really are. Not because of my name, not because of my nationality, not because of my ethnic group or a religion or a culture. Your true sense of you are. And that is what needs to be understood clearly. According to Buddhism, to know who we really are, when we dive into ourselves, that we can find that there are two things in us. One is the body and the second is the mind. Nothing more than these two things. Only body and the mind. And this body again doesn't feel. This body is just a materiality that conditioned created. And we have no control over it at all. This body is not belongs to us and we have no control over it at all. We cannot make this body not to go old. We cannot make this body not to die. Yeah? So we have no control over it. Eyes, nose, ears getting weaker and weaker, and we have no control over it. We cannot control our eyes that do not get problem. We cannot make our ears saying that do not get weaker. So we have no control over this body at all, and it doesn't feel. This body doesn't feel. Some people may be puzzled to know that this body is not belongs to us. This body doesn't feel. Then who do you think is feeling? Yeah. And this is a very interesting topic to understand. If this body feels, then when we die, this body should feel as well. A dead body doesn't feel. It will decay slowly, day by day. So that's why in Satipatthana there are 9 ways or 9 different stages of decaying the body. So the first thing we have to understand is that this body is the corporality made out of the elements combination. And when these elements comes together, then this body comes to exist. And the mind again, some people may say our mind is in the brain and others say in our heart. But according to Buddhism, what we understood that mind also conditioned arises. If there is no object, there is no mind. And yet, in the mind section, it is divided into 2. It's called a chitta and cetasikas. Chitta is the mind or consciousness. Cetasika is a mental factors that comes or that arises along with the chittas. And here again it is known as the feeling, perception, formation, and the consciousness. These four components are known as the mind. So that's why our life is defined by mind and body, and the mind is defined by, again, four other elements, which is the feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness, and which is very subtle, that we cannot see, we cannot observe. Yeah? We cannot see and we cannot touch, but we can observe it. So that's why body doesn't feel, but the mind does. And the body is self-nurtured according to the condition that we created. And the mind, again, is nurtured through our actions, the way we react or the way we act, through physically, verbally, and mentally. So our mind, we can shape it to the good or the bad. So this is what we need to know, that the first in the practice of dhammanupassana, which is the last factors of the right mindfulness, in that I gave yesterday the brief background introduction about the dhammanupassana. So today, again, I'm just giving you the background of what is the most important things to know in the world, comparing to the external world and then to ourselves. And according to the practice of Buddhism, what we can understand, that most important things to know in the world is ourselves, understanding ourselves. And when we understand, when we try to understand ourselves, then again, it's simply we have to define what we are really, rather than conventional names and fames that we have given. So that's why early on I have told you to remove your name, nationality, ethnic group, color, religion, and who you really are. Basically, you cannot define yourself without these conventional names. It's like we are all like one of the trees in the vast earth. There are also plenty of trees lying around. They have no names. There are only categories of this group of tree or that group of tree. We are also same in a sense, that we are also trees in the forests. We have no difference at all. What is different is that our consciousness defines the difference. And here, the practice of a dhammanupassana, first thing we have to understand is on the 5 aggregates, or the who we really are, and that is mind and matter. And this mind and matter, again, divided into 5 categories known as 5 aggregates. It's called pancha khanda, which is the rupa, corporality, or a body, vedana, feelings, sanya, perception, sankhara, formation, or karma, formation or intention, and then lastly, the consciousness, the vijnana. Okay? And these are the factors that we have. It's like different parts of our body and the mind, or our life. So our life is combination of these 5 elements or 5 factors, 5 aggregates: rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana, or body, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness. There is no more than that at all. And again, these all 5 aggregates are subject to the creation, subject to the conditioned, created. Nothing is single or self-created. These are all conditioned created. So on this 5 aggregates, I will talk following days, explaining what are these the 5 aggregates are, and how it is related to us, and why this is come under the right mindfulness, and what we should do to realize it completely, an understanding of it. The very moment when we understood this 5 aggregate in its true nature, then we will not be attached to it, because one of the main reason why we suffer is because of the attachment that we have in it. Okay, so with this I end tonight's reflection talk here. Thank you everyone for listening, and may you all be well and happy, and whoever has contributed and donated towards the center, with that donation may you all be well and safe and take care, and may the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you for the liberation in the future. Meanwhile, tomorrow at 12:30 in the morning, we will have the Mindful Mondays. You can come and join with us as well. Until then, good night, and see you shortly for the chanting and guided meditation. Sadhu.